right, so I just pulled up to the market on 12. And here are some of their little greenhouses. And the gentleman that's always at the market, he's got this neat little setup here on the back of these, on this tractor. And he says, yeah, no, we're going out to harvest carrots. I'm like, well, you want a hand? Sure. Mind if I bring my camera? No. So, stick with me. We'll see what we see. Okay, I'm here with Susanna from Market on 12. It's about 5 minutes away from my house, so I see all this beautifulness as I drive by. But today, we're getting a tour. So, I know we'd chatted a little bit about it before, but can you give me a little bit of your background? Like, how'd you get into growing?
I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
When I hit university, I discovered I was allergic to most things on a farm, except cows. But I couldn't be around cows because I was allergic to the feed. And we no longer farmed by the time I got to university. And I liked working with plants, but I didn't like the botany program. So I opted for plant science.
Okay.
And decided on horticulture. So I have a Bachelor of Science Agriculture with a specialization in horticulture and plant science.
Very nice.
And I stuck to the more practical courses at university because I had doing something like this in mind.
Okay.
So your soil science and your accounting and things like that.
Okay. Business oriented or agronomy focused.
Yeah.
And how long have you been growing then? Or how long have you been doing market garden?
Okay, I graduated in 1990 and I worked for, at that time, the Alberta Market Gardeners Association for 2 years. For a year and a half. And prior to that, I did a summer research program for what was Alberta Hail and Crop Insurance.
Okay.
And when all of that came to an end, I kind of wanted to get into market gardening because I had been working with market gardeners on those projects and farmers markets and that, and it appealed to me. And my brother says, if you're going to do it, just do it. So I had $300 in the bank. I rented a rototiller. I got some land for free and borrowed a tractor and got into gardening. I think I made $1,500 the first summer. And now, all these many years later, I feel like that's all I make still.
Uh-oh. I need to make a little more than that.
Yeah, so do I.
With these different colored ones, are they all different varieties, or is it...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their natural color, just different varieties.
Man, those are beautiful. I see them on your table, and like they just catch your eye.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you want your produce to do, right?
Yeah.
How many different colors do you have?
There's 4.
There's 4?
You can see the white.
See, I thought that was awesome until I seen all yours. Now I think that one's boring.
Green is probably the hardest one to sell, color-wise. Orange was the first color that kind of hit the market, and so between orange and purple, I would say those are the most popular. The white came on first this year, followed by the purple, then it was orange and green. Green sits the longest in the field. I have the most leeway on harvest time with it.
Are they all fairly consistent though? Like will green always be that way year after year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have found that. So I have the choice to pick it when it's small or to let it sit for an extra week or 2 and let it grow.
Okay. So, how much leeway do you have on cauliflower? Before it's got to be harvested? Like, because my fear was always like, if I leave it too long, then all of a sudden I'm going to come one morning and it's all going to be going to seed and nobody's going to want to buy it.
Okay, this one over here. This one is past. Once the curd starts to open up,
okay,
then it's past. And this year, with all the extra rain that we had, I found white had the most problems. The colors were fine in terms of harvesting, but white had a lot of brown markings on them, and I don't know if that was insect damage or rain damage or what. Like in peak season, we're doing upwards of 60 for 3 of the 4 markets that we do, and then
60 per week harvesting.
more than 60 per week.
Okay. Wow, I don't think I grew 60.
So, yeah, there's probably, I don't know, 600 and 800 cauliflower plants out here.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at your Brussels.
Yes, this is what cauliflower does when it really gets going.
Okay, oh my. Yeah, that's past its best before date by a couple of days, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't fart around with snapping off the lower branches or any of that kind of stuff?
I did come, usually in early August you're supposed to snap out the top, and I left it this year.
Put all the energy into the sprouts that are on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I left it this year just because the garden was late because of the weather.
Mm-hmm.
So it did happen in late August, and now they are starting to suck up. Sometimes the bottom ones get going too much.
Okay.
And then they start to sprout.
Wow. How many Brussels have you got? Several hundred.
And I learned to do, like, Brussels sprouts is one of those things, you know how to do a cabbage, you can maybe do a broccoli and a cauliflower, but Brussels sprouts kind of scared me at first. But I was working with some other folks who were selling them, and I thought, if they can do it, I'm going to try.
Right.
So I put in, I think, 75 my first year, and they wound up with little gray stuff all over them. And I inquired and was told that's aphids.
Okay.
So once they get in under the leaves of the sprout, you can't get rid of them.
Okay.
So I did lose quite a bit, but it gave me enough hope to try again. So every year now I've been expanding the amount I grow because they store. They'll keep up till Christmas and maybe even longer with good cold storage.
Okay. And those, like, what, a degree or two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you wash those and bag those? Or are they just sort of in a big crate in there?
For storage, we will cut them off at ground level. We'll come in and snap all the leaves down, cut them off at ground level, and put the stalk into a bin with a lid.
Oh, okay. Well, that's handier. Hey, okay.
And then to sell them, I just pick out the number of stalks, make sure they look good.
And do you sell them on the stalk?
On the stalk.
Nice. I noticed you got a couple of different varieties. Or do you not? My eyes playing tricks with me? This looks lighter green than...
Yes,
okay.
I believe there's 2 varieties out here.
And then so all of this then just gets plowed under?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't have enough land to summer fallow properly.
Okay. Like to just 1 year just
yeah.
leave it with nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
This weed is my worst nightmare. This is hairy nightshade.
Okay.
It's in the potato family. And it showed up, I don't know where it came from, but kind of in that area there one year. And I had no clue what it was. It was in the beet patch that year, and I didn't know what it was or how bad it was going to get, so we just kind of ignored it.
Okay.
Well, after that, it's everywhere.
Huh.
And it likes to smother things.
Okay.
The last year I did cabbage under row cover. The hairy nightshade got in there, and the humidity from all the plants made pools of water form on the cabbage leaves.
Yeah.
And where the head was sitting in that pool of water, it rotted.
Oh.
So I says, no more tents.
Okay.
So now I treat the whole patch with bacteria.
Yeah, I was gonna get you to explain that on camera. I've had so many people ask me, and I'm like, I just got lucky. But I am gonna try something for the next year. So would you mind explaining how you treat your brassicas? Because I distinctly noticed that there is nowhere near as many holes. Like if you saw my Brussels, it looks like somebody had at them with a BB gun.
Okay. We use a bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis.
Okay.
My product that I get is called Dipel. But customers who come to the greenhouse have mentioned that they get something called BTK.
Okay.
And I don't know, they've got to be buying it retail someplace, but I, as a retailer of stuff like this, have never seen it available. But if you can get your hands on it, it is the easiest way to treat for the cabbage loopers and the little green worms on the leaves. So you just mix it up according to directions in a little sprayer tank, and spray your leaves.
How often?
Every 7 to 10 days.
Okay. And obviously, like from the time that the plant comes up, through to when you're done harvest, or no?
No, I have learned over the last couple of years that the white moths don't show up till about the July long weekend.
Okay.
So up until that point, you don't need to worry about them.
Okay.
But from about a week after the moths show up, because the worm has to be there for it to be effective.
Okay. So it stays on the leaves, and then when the worms hatch and they start eating away,
then they ingest the bacteria. The bacteria grows in its gut and starves them to death.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you told me about it, I asked, was it painful? Because I really don't like those things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that you would get like via farm-wise? Like that's not something at PV Mart that anyone can go down and...
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a retail version of it. There should be, because it's a great way for even the homeowner to control the worms. Otherwise, the alternative is row cover.
Yeah, netting and
Yeah, you make hoops and put row cover over it once your plants are established, and secure the fabric with some soil around it. And for the homeowner, that's the simplest way to do it.
And a lot of times they're working in like a 4x8 little brassica bed, so that's pretty doable, but it's awfully tough when it's a 200-300 foot row.
Yes.
Right. Okay, fair enough. And is that stuff, is it fairly dear, or is it reasonable priced?
It's reasonable.
Okay.
It's on, probably about $55 for a jar, and I've used a jar, maybe a little bit more this year. But this year, with all the cold weather, the moths were later showing up, and there wasn't as many of them.
Okay. Yeah, I did notice that they were later showing up than what I'm kind of used to in my smaller context.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was going to get away with it, but because I had started everything inside, and then by the time I got it planted out, they were already like a good size. Like I had cabbages on before those little bastards even showed up.
Yeah.
So again, I had people, oh, how do you do it? I'm like, I just got lucky. Like, you know what? If I planted all that by seed, I wouldn't have had hardly any brassicas.
Yeah, the industry has gone away from doing them by seed. Everybody does them from transplant.
Oh, okay.
Around here.
Oh, good. I didn't know that, so I fluked out and did something right. Is that what you're saying?
I planned my cauliflower production so that I would have cauliflower as late into the fall as I possibly could go.
Oh, okay.
And I found a new variety that's supposed to be quite cold tolerant.
Okay.
And that's the last one that went in. And when the cutworms take them out, well, then I just fill in with either another cabbage or another cauliflower.
It all starts, right?
Yeah.
So you pop in. I got it. I just want to take a peek at some of these Brussels here real quick. Like, they are absolutely huge.
Yeah, they might be getting too big.
Okay, so all your brassicas are starts when they hit the field.
Yeah.
Do you just do that by hand? Do you have a planter? Or do you have one of those stand-up where you slide the plug in and...
I have a father who is very good at making things, and he likes to watch YouTube.
Yeah, he has told me. Yeah.
So we have it's a tube with, it opens on the bottom.
Okay.
And it's got a wire up and a little trigger handle. And I wear a belt with a little pink container and my transplants in it, and I jab that in the ground. It's got a foot thing on to help me get it in there, and drop my plant in, squeeze the trigger, and the plant is in.
Move to the next one.
Lift it up and keep going.
And what do you do? A couple feet in between for your brassicas?
Yeah, they're about 14 to 24 inches apart, depending on how big the plant is going to get.
Okay.
Like right here, these are the late season cabbage.
Okay.
They're not quite.
So they're going to be a little smaller.
Wrapping, yeah. And these last two rows, somebody forgot to seed them for me. So when I realized that I was already 6 weeks behind.
Oh, okay.
So I threw them in. I did a smaller plug, and when they were big enough, then we threw them in the ground, and I says, we'll see what we get.
Okay.
Every week there's a certain quantity that gets planted, because I also figure for cutworm loss.
Okay. Well, sure. Yeah.
Cutworms have their season, and you're always going to lose some. And again, this year, with our spring being dry, the cutworms didn't show up like they normally do.
Okay.
But they did eventually come and take out sections, and then you just replant, and that stuff comes on later. So these late ones were also new varieties I wanted to try this year.
Is there a big difference between the varieties? Like, because I noticed some of the stuff that you're bringing to market right now is the very, very wide cabbages, which would be ideal for cabbage rolls.
Yes.
And then I've seen some that are kind of, they say they're more suited towards sauerkraut. And
yes. Your late season cabbage is very tight, very dense, so that when you slice it, it fluffs up nice.
Okay.
But it's also a bit drier.
Okay.
So what I like to recommend is one of the mid-season cabbages mixed in to your crock with your late season cabbage.
Okay, for kraut.
Yeah. Now my mid-season cabbage is also good for cabbage rolls.
Yeah, they got the big wide
Yeah.
heads on them.
Yes. We put one of the big ones on the scale last week, and it was 13.5 pounds.
Okay.
I found a new variety this year for a small red cabbage, because everybody complains, oh, that's too big.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, people do not want large red cabbage.
Okay.
I've learned that. So I found this new variety, and then it's a different shape. This is more like an early green cabbage.
Okay.
And this is my earliest of the green cabbages.
Okay.
And it's a nice variety because it stays fairly small.
So you have these little side heads that...
Yeah, they come back. If they get big enough, I'll harvest them and sell them too.
Sure, why not, huh? And then from a crop rotation side of things, this won't be brassicas next year, or
No.
to a certain extent?
No.
Okay.
I try and aim for 3 years between.
Okay.
Okay, this is the later red cabbage, and you can see the difference. It's huge. It's a much more upright, light bulb shaped. Like that there is late season green, and they're very similar. Whereas the next row over is a mid-season cabbage, much more round and a little bit more squatty. And then I also have the Flathead cabbage, which is good for cabbage rolls, but it's almost gone. I think there's 30-some heads in the garden.
So what have you got over here?
Okay, this was our lettuce patch this summer.
Okay.
It was weeded at one point. My staff did go through it. But with this being a really rainy year, the lettuce, I don't know, it rotted in the field. There was a lot of disease in it this year. So it didn't do very well, and it didn't hold very well either. It came on quick, and it bolted.
Okay.
Went to seed. So, I don't know, maybe we got half of it out of the field. That looked decent. And then later on, in August, then we start planting in the greenhouse again to try and extend the lettuce
For
harvest.
lettuce,
a little
okay.
bit.
I was going to ask you if you successionally sow that so that you always have lettuce, or
We try.
try to?
Yeah. So, and then beside this here,
Some carrot.
yeah, more carrots. I bought purple and white and yellow carrot seed, and I dumped them all in a container with
Mixed them
some leftover orange, and this is my colored carrots.
Oh, nice.
We've got.
How do they do better, same? Do you charge more? What's the benefits? Color?
The benefit is the color. My understanding is color brings different things to our diet.
Yeah, okay. I've heard that as well.
So,
I
and
think
it's-
people purchase with their eyes too. Like if it looks, if colorful, ooh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're not a huge seller, but there is a small market for them, so I do a small quantity just to go along with my regular carrots. It keeps something on the table, helps the table stay looking full at market.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then a little bit more lettuce. This was the early
Celery?
is celery and celeriac.
Okay.
So I have learned, just almost by accident, that celery in the garden does not do as well as celery in the greenhouse.
Okay.
So next year I'm doing all my celery in the greenhouse.
Okay.
So-
And then what size of a pot are you growing that in?
We have 2 foot by 12 foot by
Raised beds.
yeah,
Okay.
2 foot deep raised beds.
Okay.
And
Do you find that you need to keep like the celery's environment? Does it need to be damper, moisture, wetter?
my observation would be that it likes regular moisture and warmth.
Okay. Because I know I watch a lot of people in the UK and they make like little celery bogs where it's like a really wet environment. And
Yeah.
I mean, never really heard of that before, but
Yeah.
you know.
I was told by someone last fall that when you harvest celery, if you want to store it, take it root and all, and set that root into a couple inches
Some
of water,
Okay.
and it
Keeps it
will keep.
kind of living, really, in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah.